Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and I watched a new promotion this weekend. It was wXw. It was their Back to Roots 2025 event. Um, I had known, I think, Ludwig, Kaiser, Ilya Dragunov, Gunther. I feel like there's more that have been in this promotion, and I've heard of it, and I've seen it before in like TEW, the game and stuff, but I've never really watched anything, and I kind of feel like I need to start watching it because this event was pretty solid, and they also had in the middle of an intermission a Penta versus Ilya Dragunov match that happened a couple years ago, and that absolutely was fire too. So probably we'll cover that randomly in some type of way. So we're gonna go best with names here also, and we're going to do the best we can because I'm gonna be honest with some of these matchups, they were really good. And I did miss one match. It was the second match. For whatever reason, I think I had to like go do something real quick, and the match was like 6 minutes long. So I did expect it to come back. And I think we'll just jump into it, and I'll do the best way I can do. And tell me if any matches um, to watch because I feel like I should do a maybe like a tier list on just like a big group of matches from this promotion because I don't know, seemed like a lot of fun. I really was surprised. I mean, not like surprised, just like when you don't know and you just watch something random and you know very little because like I knew of three wrestlers that were on this card and only one or two of them I've seen multiple matches of. So yeah, I guess that's something. So let's start off with the hardcore match. It was Levaniel versus Hardcore Schneider. Schneider. I don't know how you'd pronounce that. I know it's European, so it might be Schneider. It was kind of a small, like a quick match, but I've watched a couple of Levaniel's matches. I like him. I feel like he just kind of has like solid I wouldn't even say they're like hardcore matches all the time, but like just like solid striking matches. I think I've seen him. I want to say against somebody else that's kind of like more famous that a while back. But I'm gonna start off the show with a B. I just thought it was pretty good. Like I said, I think it was a little short for me at least because it was like 8 minutes. I think I would have done a little bit longer, but I mean, it was serviceable for an opening match, and I thought it was pretty good because I think they had a pre-show match before that I missed because I sometimes I always like when I see the time I log in at the time to watch it and then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess there was pre-show matches because I didn't look at the card before this. The next matchup I missed, so I'll go right to this tag team championship match. Um, it was Youngblood versus Dennis and Hector. Uh, I expected the other team to have like a name, but maybe they did, and I don't know. Because it sounds like there's something here on the card, but I'm looking at the cage match. I have like the card up on there because I wanted to make sure I could try to get the names the best way I could. This was a solid tag match. I thought it was weird that the tag team title match was like here, but then like there's a I don't know if like it's like a number one the number one contendership match was later. I don't know. I feel like that's always kind of weird to have on the card. I guess it's just because the way that they were going to set it up. But I feel like it was a pretty solid match. I've never seen any of these people in my entire life, so I was a little like it was one of those things like you watch and you're like I like it. One of the guy on the Youngblood team, the Yuta or Yuto. I thought he looked pretty solid out there. I mean, all of them look solid. Again, I'd probably put it in B. I feel like it's one of those things that I can't quite always know like and appreciate wrestling sometimes if I haven't seen multiple matches to see what is good or bad compared to what they put on. I enjoyed the match, so I definitely would put it in B. I don't know if I'd put it any higher because like it's not a match that I would recommend maybe to somebody who is starting. So that's kind of where my gauge is, and it will change the more and more I watch of subbing. Next up is actually one of the people I actually knew was Engel Block. He's a French like luchador. I know very little of him, but I have seen a few of his matches and like just different stuff about him. Like in there's like a TEW series that I watch, and he was one of the wrestlers in it. That's what first got me. I'm like, a French luchador. That sounds like an interesting gimmick. And I saw a couple matches of his. This match was pretty solid. It was like just a solid singles match. I didn't know the other guy. He went out there and cooked too. Again, I'd probably just put it in B because it's harder for me to kind of figure out because it was like when you start to show off, you're like, okay, these are really good matches. You know, they're solid times. They're not anything too long. But then once you start getting towards like the second half of this card, it seems like where it started cooking. Next up is another singles match. It was Cara Navar versus Axel, I guess Fleshel. God, why am I just terrible with names in general? I definitely need Microsoft Sam as my co-host. Again, good match. I feel like this one was definitely like more hard hitting and like brutal out there. I'd give it above the edge of watching all of these. I would probably put it in A because I could definitely see the little like when you watch these first three, you're like, this is a good card. Then you watch that, you watch that match, you're like, oh, okay, so this is what we're getting back, like with all that. Once you start seeing what this whole thing's about and the whole card's about, you're like, okay, now I can see that we're turning this up, a couple notches. So the next up, we had the World Champion Tag Team number one contender elimination tables match. The problem was, for whatever reason, I didn't have sound for this match in the beginning, so I did not know it was an elimination tables match, and I was super confused why people were getting eliminated by the tables at first, because it felt like, because I didn't know the guys, so I felt like somebody went for the tables twice, and maybe it was just my fan. I thought it was the same dude that went in twice, and I was like, "What's going on?" But it was High Performance LTD. They won against the Big Bucks and Planet Guar, which I don't know, when they first came out, I kind of was like, I'm kind of rooting for them, even though I had nothing I knew anything about. But I love tables matches, and this was brutal from going like the inside and outside of the ring with some of those tables too. The spots were chest kiss. I would put it in an A tier. I mean, I love me a tables match, and especially a tables elimination match because it's like you can't go through it, but there we go. This is actually the next match. It was Miko who's on her retirement tour versus Stephanie Mays. I don't know who Stephanie Mays is. Miko was the only wrestler I could say I've watched more than a handful of matches for on this, because I've actually seen her at least like 2 or 3 times just this year because of this retirement tour. She's all over the place, and yeah, she has a long history in like NXT UK, so she was over here, and other times I guarantee she's been doing other stuff. So I thought this was pretty cool. I really hope like that she low key could get a WWE match in the next coming year, just because it's like I don't know. It feels like it's fitting. This match, obviously, I feel like was I thought it was a good, solid, like striking match. Not really like my thing necessarily. I don't know the other girl, but she definitely stood her own, and I kind of thought she might low key get the win because of like the way she was, really showing up out there. But I put it in B. I think it was definitely the name value of this match is why it's later on the card, and obviously, it was still really good to be on this card. And then next up, we have a certain type of match I am not going to be able to pronounce in my life, but it felt like it was a Hell in the Cell type thing where it looked like you could escape. I think that was the rule because like some of their, I guess, like teammates or friends came down to unlock the door and they were going to try to slide out. So I'm assuming you could have just escaped and won the match. So that looked good. But man, they were just tearing up each other. I personally think it was like hand in hand with the tables match being my favorite, just because of like I don't know, I like table elimination matches. Unfortunately, I do like Hell in a Cell, but like you've been able to escape, and maybe that's not what it was, and maybe they were going in there to help them. I'll be honest, I didn't know exactly what was going on, because I think after the Miko one, the commentary on mine thing was busted, so I didn't hear anything from that. Because like before, I had it paused during the one match, and then or like I had it muted because I was doing something, and then that match, it just wasn't working. So maybe they explained it better, and maybe you guys can tell me, but I'd still put it up a solid A. This was a really good show, and I really want to watch more wXw. I want to watch some old stuff too. I pulled up a bunch of matches, and I'm probably going to do like a tier list or like some type of thing on it because I don't know. It seemed like it was pretty fun, and they had some really good matches. I watched that Penta and Ilya Dragunov match, and I was like, yeah, this seems like a pretty cool promotion. And I know like Pete Dunne was also in this. Kylie Ray, or what Alba Fire's name. I forget what exactly, and I'm pretty sure Lyra Valkyrie was in this promotion. Tony Storm. There's a lot of old people, not old people, but like people that I know from other promotions that were in here. So I'm pretty excited. So we'll see how it goes, and yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what happens. And tell me if you guys recommend any matches or watching some more events, and I definitely would be down to try it out. Until next time, it's been Japan. Bye, guys.